Welcome to Daily Conversation. This is Mr. K.
This is Eric.
Yeah, today is the 15th of May 2021, and the time now is 6:18 a.m. Well, today is a reading session, and we will continue to read the book Atomic Habit. So before we get started, please click the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. All right, so here we go. Okay, so today we start from
we start from line 491.
491. All right. Okay, so
Okay.
would you like if I start first?
Okay.
Okay, the best way to start a new habit. In 2001, researchers in Great Britain began working with 248 people to build better exercise habits over the course of 2 weeks. The subjects were divided into 3 groups. The first group, I'm sorry.
The first group was the control group. They were simply asked to track how often they exercise. The second group was the quote-unquote motivation group. They were asked not only to track their workouts, but also to read some material on the benefits of exercise. The researchers also explained to the group how exercise could reduce the risk of coronary heart disease and improve heart health.
Yeah, the words, which is the third line, coronary.
Coronary.
Yeah, the more stress on the first syllable. Finally, there was the third group. These subjects received the same presentation as the second group, which ensured that they had equal levels of motivation. However, they were also asked to formulate a plan for when and where they would exercise over the following week. Specifically, each member of the third group completed the following sentence. During the next week, I will partake in at least 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on day at time in place.
In the first and second groups, 35 to 38% of people exercise at least once per week. Interestingly, the motivational presentation given to the second group seems to have no meaningful impact on behavior, but 91% of the third group exercise at least once per week, more than double the normal rate.
The sentence they filled out is what researchers refer to as an implementation intention, which is a plan you make beforehand about when and where to act. That is how you intend to implement a particular habit.
The cues that can trigger a habit come in a wide range of forms. The feel of your phone buzzing in your pocket, the smell of chocolate chip cookies, the sound of ambulance sirens, but the two most common cues are time and location. Implementation intentions leverage both of these cues.
Third line, the first word is sirens. You pronounce
Okay.
as sirens.
Siren. Okay.
Broadly speaking, the format for Creating an implementation intention is when situation X arises, I will perform response Y. Hundreds of studies have shown that implementation intentions are effective for sticking to our goals, whether it's writing down the exact time and date of when you will get a flu shot, or recording the time of your colonoscopy colonoscopy appointment. They increase the odds that people will stick with habits like recycling, studying, going to sleep early, and stopping smoking.
Researchers have even found that voter turnout increases when people are forced to create implementation intentions by answering questions like, what route are you taking to the polling station? At what time are you planning to go? What bus will get you there? Other successful government programs have prompted citizens to make a clear plan to send taxes in on time or provided directions on when and where to pay late traffic bills.
The punchline is clear. People who make a specific plan for when and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through. Too many people try to change their habits without these basic details figured out. We tell ourselves, I'm going to eat healthier, or I'm going to write more, but we never say when and where these habits are going to happen. We leave it up to chance and hope that we will just remember to do it or feel motivated at the right time. An implementation intention sweeps away foggy notions like I want to work out more, or I want to be more productive, or I should vote, and transforms them into a concrete, concrete plan of action.
Many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. It's not always obvious when and where to take actions. Some people spend their entire life, some people spend their entire lives waiting for the time to be right to make an improvement.
Once an implementation intention has been set, you don't have to wait for inspiration to strike. Do I write a chapter today or not? Do I meditate this morning or at lunch? When the moment of action occurs, there is no need to make a decision. Simply follow your predetermined plan.
The simple way to apply this strategy to your habits is to fill out this sentence. I will behavior at time in location. Meditation. I will meditate for 1 minute at 7 a.m. in my kitchen. Studying. I will study Spanish for 20 minutes at 6 p.m. in my bedroom. Exercise. I will exercise for 1 hour at 5 p.m. in my local gym. Marriage. I will make my partner a cup of tea at 8 a.m. in the kitchen. If you aren't sure when to start your habits, try the first day of the week, month, or year. People are more likely to take action of those times because hope is usually higher. If we have hope, we have a reason to take action. A fresh start feels motivating.
There is another benefit to implementation intentions. Being specific about what you want and how you will achieve it helps you say no to things that derail progress, distract your attention, and pull you off course. We often say yes to little requests because we are not clear enough about what we need to be doing instead. When your dreams are vague, it's easy to rationalize little exceptions all day long and never get around to the specific things you need to do to succeed.
Give your habits a time and a space to live in the world. The goal is to make the time and location so obvious that enough repetitions, you get an urge to do the right things at the right time. Even you can't say why. The writer Jason Zweig noted, obviously, you're never going to just work out without conscious thought, but like a dog salivating at the bell, maybe you start to get antsy around the time of day you normally work out.
There are many ways to use implementation intentions in your life and work. My favorite approach is one I learned from Stanford professor B.J. Fogg, and it is a strategy I refer to as habit stacking.
Habit stacking, a simple plan to overhaul your habits. The, the French philosopher Denis Diderot lived nearly his entire life in poverty, but they all changed one day in 1765. Diderot's daughter was about to be married and he could not afford to pay for the wedding. Despite his lack of wealth, Ditherate was well known for his role as the co-founder and writer of uh, encyclopedia, encyclopedia, one of the most comprehensive encyclopedias of the time. When Catherine of the Great, the Empress of Russia, the Empress of Russia, heard of Diderot's financial troubles, her heart went out to him. He was a book lover and greatly enjoyed his encyclopedia. She offered to buy Diderot's personal library for £1,000, more than $150,000 today. Suddenly, Diderot had money to spare. With his new wealth, he not only paid for the wedding but also acquired a scarlet robe for himself.
Okay, fourth line. This one is Russia,
Russia.
and you pronounce as Russia.
Okay, Russia.
Russia. Diderot's scarlet robe was beautiful, so beautiful, in fact, that he immediately noticed how out of place it seemed when surrounded by his more common possessions. He wrote that there was no more coordination, no more unity, no more beauty between his elegant and robe and the rest of his staff.
Diderot soon felt the urge to upgrade his possessions, to replace the rug with one from Damascus. He decorated his home with expensive sculptures. He bought a mirror to place above the mantel and a better kitchen table. He tossed aside his old straw chair for a later one. By, by falling dominoes, one purchase led to the next.
Diderot's behavior is not uncommon. In fact, the tendency for one purchase to lead to another one has a name: the Diderot effect. The Diderot effect states that obtaining a new possession often creates a spiral of consumption that leads to additional purchases.
You can spot this pattern everywhere. You buy a dress and have to get new shoes and earning and earrings to match. You buy a couch and suddenly questions the layout of your entire living room. You buy a toy for your child and soon find yourself purchasing all of the accessories that go with it. It's a chain reactions of purchases.
Okay, second line. Uh, second line. This one is couch.
Couch.
We pronounce as coach.
Okay, you buy a
Yeah,
couch.
couch. Many human behaviors follow this cycle. You often decide what to do next based on what you have just finished doing. Going to the bathroom leads to washing and drying your hands, which reminds you that you need to put the dirty towels in the laundry. So you add laundry detergent to the shopping list, and so on. No behavior happens in isolation. Each action becomes a cue that triggers the next behavior.
Why is this important? When it comes to building new habits, we can use con the connectedness of behavior to your advantage. One of the best ways to build a new habit is to identify a current habit you already do each day and then stake your new behavior on top. This is called habit staking. Habit stacking.
Habit stacking is a special form of an implementation intention. Rather than pairing your new habit with a particular time and location, you paired it with a current habit. This method, which was created by B.J. Fogg as part of his Tiny Habits program, can be used to design an obvious cue for nearly any habit.
The habit stacking formula is after current habits, I will new habit. For example, meditation. After I pour my cup of coffee each morning, I'll meditate for 1 minute. Exercise. After I take off my work shoes, I will immediately change into my workout clothes. Gratitude. After I sit down to dinner, I will say one thing I'm grateful for that happens today. Marriage. After I get into bed at night, I will give my partner a kiss. Safety. After I put on my running shoes, I will text a friend or family member where I am running and how long it will take.
The key is the key is to tie your desired behavior into something you already do each day. Once you have mastered this basic structure, you can begin to create larger stacks by chaining small habits together. This allows you to take advantage of the natural momentum that comes from one behavior leading into the next, a positive version of Diderot effect.
Habit stacking. Figure 7. Habit stacking increases the likelihood that you stick with a habit by stacking your new behavior on top of an old one. The process can be repeated to chain numerous habits together, each one acting as a cue for the next. Your morning routine's habit stack might look like this. After I pour my morning cup of coffee, I'll meditate for 60 seconds. After I meditate for 60 seconds, I will write my to-do list for the day. After I write my to-do list for the day, I will immediately begin my first task. Or consider this habit stack in the evening. After I finish eating dinner, I will put my plate directly into the dishwasher. After I put my dishes away, I will immediately wipe down the counter. After I wipe down the counter, I will set out my coffee mug for tomorrow morning.
Yeah, wait a minute, I try to find out where it is. Yeah, line 539. Okay, and then we have 60 seconds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and for this one, you pronounce more like 60. Uh,
Okay,
it
60
is
seconds.
more E, 60.
Meditate for 60 seconds.
Yeah. You can also insert new behaviors into the middle of your current routines. For example, you may already have a morning routine that looks like this. Wake up, make my bed, take a shower. Let's say you want to develop the habits of reading more each day, each night. You can expand your habit stack and try something like wake up, make my bed, place a book on my pillow, take a shower. Now, when you climb into bed each night, a book will be sitting there waiting for you to enjoy.
Overall, habit stacking allows you to create a set of simple rules that guide your future's behavior. It's like you always have a game planned for which action should come next. When you get comfortable with this approach, you can develop general habit stack to guide you whenever the situation is appropriate.
Exercise. When I see a set of stairs, I will take them instead of using the elevator. Social skills. When I walk into a party, I will introduce myself to someone I don't know yet. Finances. When I want to buy something over $100, I will wait 24 hours before purchasing. Healthy eating. When I serve myself a meal, I will always put veggies on my plate first. Minimalism. When I buy a new item, I will give something away. One in, one out. Mood. When the phone rings, I will take one deep breath and smile before answering. Forgetfulness. When I leave a public place, I will check the table and chairs to make sure I don't leave anything behind. Yeah, Eric, I have only read until
Okay.
line 554.
Okay, so we make an ending
Yeah.
for the summary. Okay, so yeah, for this reading session, we learned about the habit stacking, yeah,
Mm.
which is a method that I have never thought before. Yeah, it's something like one link to another.
Mm.
Mm. If you yeah, because in this Google Doc, we cannot see the figure. If you go to the book and you try to check the figure 7 that just now we read at, and
Yeah.
about the diagram of habit stacking, it's actually formed by a lot of habit loop. Okay, for example, we have habit 1, habit 2, habit 3, habit 4, and each habit have its habit loop. Okay, and
Mm.
we link the second habit, the queue of second habit, at the end of the last step, the reward of the first habit, and then link the third one
Mm.
queues to the second habit's reward. Yeah, so and so on and so on. Yeah, so that means uh we kind of link our habit together. So that uh yeah, because this chapter is actually talk about the cues, which is talk about make the habits easy. So
Mm.
that
Yep.
we try to make our cues uh, link to the reward of of the previous habits. So that means it will make ourselves more easier to start another habit. Or
Mm.
maybe
Yep.
we can also like do it something like a sandwich, and then for example now you have habit 1, habit 2, and then you wish to add a new habit. And then you can insert a new habit between your habit 1 and habit 2.
Mm.
Mm,
Yep.
yeah. So the author also give one example. For example, you want to uh, cultivate a habit of reading book,
Mm.
and then it doesn't mean that you have to sorry I'm the author the example that author give is you want to cultivate the habit of reading book at night. But it doesn't mean that you can only do the habit stacking at night. You can do it start from morning. For
Mm.
example, after
Yep.
you wake up, and then you put a book, and then you put a book uh, on your pillow, mm.
Mm.
so that after you came back home, and then after you have your dinner, and then you want to sleep, and then you look at a book on your pillow, and
Yeah.
then yeah, this is a cue for you to read the book. And then after you read the book, and then you put the book on the table, that near your bed. Yeah, so that after you wake up, you can directly take the book and put on your pillow. Yeah, so
Mm.
it is linked together. You cannot put the book under the bed. Yeah, or put the book inside the drawer, because you will
Yeah.
forget. Mm, Yeah, so it is the habit stacking, and then it also linked to one of actually it's two of the technique that author mentioned in last reading session.
Yeah.
In our last reading session, and the first is the pointing and calling. Yeah, so
Mm.
that you read aloud when you want to do something, and when you want to remind you to do something uh, in the next day or in next hours, and then you want to remind yourself, and then you read aloud, read a few times, so it will
Mm.
increase the probability of reminding.
Mm.
And then
Yep.
another is actually they ask you to write the uh, to list out your daily habit. And then this also linked to this habit stacking. If you don't have a daily habit list, how can
Mm.
you find out what's the best way to do the habit stacking? Mm.
Mm. Yeah,
And then
it's like to decide where I should put the new habit together with.
mm,
Is it like this?
yeah, and then this daily habit is also linked uh, to previous reading sections, which is uh, how to write the daily habit. Mm. You may mark a positive, mark a negative, mark a neutral sign.
Neutral. Yeah.
Mm. And then uh, how to mark it is actually depend on the identity based approach. So
Mm.
it means who you wish to become, yeah, who you want to be. So it's all along, yeah, it's everything is linked together, just like the habit stacking. Yeah, it's
Mm.
all is linked together. So the idea of this book until now is also linked together. First is the identity based approaches, and then
Mm.
you use it to build your daily habit list, and then you use it to do to market, yeah, to market, and then uh, uh, use it to judge whether it is a positive habit or it is a negative habit or it's a
Mm.
neutral habit based on the person who you want to be, and then start from then. Yeah, start from there. You can also use the habit stacking mm,
Mm.
to try to cultivate a new habit and also try to break a new habit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is my summary.
Mm. Yep. And yeah, I also found that this habit stacking is very, very useful. And I also mentioned that they try to make it uh, not that difficult at first, at the beginning. I mean, talk about the habits of reading just now in the example. Um, what the author uh, suggests is I mean in this example, his suggestion is trying to stack the habit in the morning after you make the bed, and then put a book on the pillow. Yeah, for this one, this is a very easy action, and it won't cost you much effort or time to do so. And then uh, only until later, which is at night in this example, um, and then it is about to read the book. Yeah, so it seems like we do something which is easy first, and then after that, um, when we already put the book on the pillow, actually in our subconscious, we remember this. We already something like to arrange a time to do it. Yeah, so yeah, I found that this is very good. It's a very good method.
I think the key idea is actually make it obvious. It's not like make it easy. Yeah.
Obvious, yeah, obvious, and the cue, right?
Yeah. Make the cue
Mm,
obvious. Yeah.
yeah.
So it allow you easier, start the habit easier. It's
Mm,
not the make the habit easy. Yeah, it's make the start easy.
okay, yeah, because if something is uh too difficult at the beginning, maybe we will still give up. Like for example, if you stack a habit of meditation, yeah, if you make
Yeah.
it too long at the
Okay.
beginning,
Yeah.
maybe you won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is another thing that mentioned in this book at the, I think it's preface or in the introduction section. And remember the British cyclist
Mm,
example. Yeah,
yeah.
like they make improvement 1% each. And then
Mm,
when it accumulates, yeah, it is a big difference. So
ah,
like, yeah, they investigate which job is good for the uh uh message.
performance.
Yeah, the message, right? Okay, the massage, the massage. Okay, yeah, which job is good for the massage, and then also uh which bicycle, which bike is good, and what accessory they need to change to improve the performance. Yeah,
Mm,
and then they also study like the sleeping time, all that. Yeah, they improve each of the habits 1%.
yeah.
Yeah, it's technically it's not 1%, but he try to improve everything a little. And then
Mm,
when it accumulates, it becomes a huge difference. Yeah, so it doesn't mean that you have to make a very difficult thing. And then the
mm,
author actually suggests you to start things more. Yeah,
yeah.
tiny. Yeah, and look at the subtitle of this book. A tiny difference can make a big change. Yeah,
Mm,
so it actually covered in the introduction. It's not
yeah.
covered in this uh in this reading section. Yeah.
Mm, yeah.
You need to know.
Yeah.
You need to know this easy is make the habit easier to start. It's not
Mm.
make the habit easy.
Yeah, yeah, easy to start.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So anything else?
Um, yeah, I think uh yeah, that's all because you have made quite a
Mm.
complete summary.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
So that's all for our today conversations. How do you feel? Do you enjoy the conversations? Please tell us what you think of our conversations. If we are not native speakers, if you found any vocab or grammar mistakes that we made, please also comment to let us know because we want to learn more and improve ourselves. Remember to like and subscribe to us. Thanks for watching. See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.